What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to another edition of the Tuffy Talk live show. We are back live once again. And once again, we have a crap ton to talk about. In fact, I think I saw a Wolfpack stat say it best, that there's only one other time that he could think of in NC State Twitter history that was as entertaining as this last week was, and that was when MJ Morris made his announcement about his future NC State. But yeah, I could definitely argue this eclipses that for sure. It was absolutely, I don't even know what the word is to describe. Greg, what word would you use to describe like that Thursday, Friday stretch?
There's probably better words, but unreal is kind of a word that kind of comes to mind. It's nothing that I've really seen. You can maybe make the argument that the ACC tournament Final Four, that was a lot of buzz, but that was more of a prolonged thing where this is more of a condensed version of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. The word I think of is unanimous. I mean, I've never seen one fan base be so all in agreement on, a stance.
3 fan bases.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, three, probably more than that. Even
I'm sure there's
even,
probably some SEC schools out there too, right?
even no quarter ECU was even saying how much of a bogus move it was. But again, we'll get into all of it here. But first of all, I got to welcome back Kens to the room here. We're excited to have Kens back here once again.
She only wants to show up when there's big news. I feel like that's what the whole thing is.
That's not what it is. Okay, Greg. We can handle this off screen.
We'll take it off screen.
Okay, we'll take it off. Next.
Yeah. No. Well, first of all, you got Preacher Man B meets the punch here, but we'll definitely talk about the Wolfpack game for soft people in one of our tweets of the week here. But also too, Carson's feeling a little down ever since Will Wade left, so he decided to make his camera look appropriately. So
he's working in the shadows tonight.
That's right, working in the shadows like Boo did 24 hours ago with the plane tracker, which hey, I gotta give props to Boo. But again, we'll get into all that here. But again, we got a lot to get to here tonight, so make sure, if you haven't already, make sure to put any comments, join Preacher Man, put them in the chat, questions, thoughts, thoughts on Will Wade leaving.
I'm sure there's some thoughts.
There's definitely some
thoughts on Gainey over shirts, like all those thoughts, questions. Make sure to put them in the chat. We will get to them here today. But with that being said, let's start off first and foremost here, which obviously got a full crew here tonight, so looking forward to it. Let's start at the top here. Back on Thursday, well, really Wednesday night into Thursday morning, there was rumblings of Will Wade looking at moving on to
just Wednesday, apparently, according to Wade.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, no, dude, we got so much to get tonight. It's not even funny, but yes, no, I don't know. So Carson, initial, because there was always these rumblings of potentially going back to LSU. There was always these rumblings here, but I don't know, when you first got the notification that Will Wade was accepting the job at LSU, what was your initial thought? Did you believe it? Was it, how much of a shock was it? 1 to 10, 10 being absolute shock?
I would say probably a 9. I was definitely shocked, and I think the biggest part of that was the fact that LSU technically still had their previous coach employed. Like, that was the most confusing part about it for me.
Good point.
Yeah, no, that again.
They welcomed Wade on Twitter before they even. I don't know if they even announced it. Did they ever put it on social media?
They put that the coach said in a conference that he was fired after Will Wade had already touched the ground in Baton Rouge. Is when he was officially let go of the job.
And then the freaking LSU staff had the gall today to have this speech about Mac McMahon and how thankful he was, and how how great of a program he ran from just whatever,
finished last place in the SEC.
Yeah, literally finished 3-20 in the SEC over the last 2 years. But also too, again, that aside, that really is it's not even the story. Like, who even cares about that? It's more of the fact that LSU is just they are making themselves the unanimous hated.
They're the New York Yankees. They're the Dallas Cowboys. They're like, insert whatever pro squad you want to put there as the most hated franchise. Like they're right up there with all of those.
What and I would again, yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I would say, and more of also too because of the fact that the Yankees and the Cowboys have a lot of similarity to LSU, that they have not seen any recent success whatsoever, but yet they act like they've had a lot of recent success. Which, yes, baseball, sure, yes, but
but I mean, the Tigers did win a national championship a few years ago with Joe Burrow. I mean, it's been like
7
4 or 5 years.
It's been a little. It's been a little bit.
I'm getting
a little bit.
I didn't think it was that long ago.
Yeah. But again, like it's just like even today, obviously that it's hilarious. That Will Wade press conference, there was a lot of NC State fans that were tuning in here for sure. And man, LSU fans were loving to point it out, being like,
yeah, rent free.
Yeah, we just live.
I don't think LSU fans get the whole point of why we're upset. I don't think they understand why we're mad. I feel like they think that we're jealous that our coach left.
I don't give a crap anymore. Like really, for real.
It's the way that our team went straight to shit right after he put his house on the market in Raleigh. Like, not a month ago. Like, that's just shitty to do.
And honestly, I think, like, we're not surprised that he left. Like, we always thought he was this was going to be, a 3 to 5 year probably thing. We didn't expect it after barely 365 days. I mean, I think it was the 366th day. It was the day after he had his press conference. A year from that he left. Like no one thought that. And again, as these, and we'll talk about it more in depth, but as you start to see some of these things, and I would love for a player to go on record about this whole thing. And that's the one. Yeah, and that's the one thing I think we're missing right now to some of those details, like when and what did they know. But I mean, the signs were always there. I mean, the signs have been in motion for 11 plus months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and so with that being said, I do want to play that famous clip here for today, just for those who want to listen to it once again, and especially as we break it down here. Maybe for those who some reason have not heard the statement once again. But in order to do that, we got to jump on over to Tuffy's Tweets of the Week. So let's do it. All right, so let's play the clip, shall we?
I think some of the things have been mischaracterized on how I left, but I'm not going to get into I don't want to get it. I learned long ago. I'm not going to get into a back and forth on all of that.
Excuse.
The people who need to know. And look, everybody has to, when there's a situation like this, everybody has to cover has to cover. Let's put it that way. And so I'm not, I'm at peace with how I left. I'm at peace with what we did. And,
of course you are.
I mean, they're pretty mad for a coach they didn't think was very good. So
who said that?
I don't,
yeah, no, I mean, so, all right.
Sorry.
So let's
he
just jump to that
want
first.
to punch him in his face. Like,
yeah, well,
I want to punch him in his pear.
Yeah, punch him in his pear. Yeah. Well, first of all, I mean, of that entire clip, what's the one thing for those that are tuning in with us? So, what's the one thing from that clip that kind of stood out the most to you? I'd love to hear some thoughts on that. But I mean, let's start with the freshest one. So that comment at the very end. Look, they're pretty mad for a coach that didn't think was very good. That's one thing that I think is actually hilarious. I think actually pretty unanimously, there wasn't a lot of push of necessarily firing Will Wade. There was a good amount of people that were not happy with Will Wade and the season that was put together this year. But listen, I mean, I think most all rational NC State fans agree that, listen, you just fired Kevin Keats. You wanted Will Wade to come in. Like, yes, you're not going to fire the guy after 1 year, like after letting a coach go that just took you to the Final Four. Like, if you're going to make that move, you got to invest and you got to be willing to go with the ebbs and flows a little bit here. So, but yeah, Greg, you had such a strong reaction to it and then said, who said that? Like, build on that.
Yeah, I look, no one, I mean, maybe there were some fans out there, right? But I think the fans that have said that, like, okay, first off, let's back this up a little bit. He talked so much stuff, right? He Red Reckoning. He did the Jimmy V cosplay. Like Joe Giglio hit it so good the other day.
I loved his clip
on his rant, like the 10-minute monologue. Like I couldn't do what he just said, but the cosplay thing just got me going because that's exactly what it was. Like, again, they're trying to bring back all these old, like gosh, my head is just going and my mouth's not moving fast enough, but like they bring back the sound meter. They do, they show all this stuff that they trying to bring back merge the old and the new together and a new era, right? The Red Reckoning era. And it was just all word salad. The whole thing was just word salad. Like and so the thing that people got frustrated is you ran your mouth. And if anyone watched the movie Top Gun back in the day, and there's a scene where Maverick and Goose get back on the thing and he goes, "Your body's writing checks that your mouth can't cash." That's exactly what he was freaking doing. Like, like he was, just go out there. And I think when we see Gainey, do his press conference, I don't think you're going to see any of those shenanigans. I think
Nope.
he's going to say, "I'm here. We're going to build this thing. We're going to do it the right way." Like, I don't care if he's the most cliche speech when he makes his announcements or his remarks on Wednesday. The whole thing was was a show. It was a facade. Like, the whole thing was just fake. He's all fake. And
Yep.
we fell for it. We fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. All of us did from Wolfpack Nation. He got us.
He
He
did.
made us look like fools.
Yeah. I mean, Ken's, Brian Price saying maybe he was going after
there's no
Giglio,
doubt.
and hey, if he was, listen, man, like,
I mean, he didn't say anything wrong. I'm pretty sure when I
Giglio
he
didn't
was
say anything
stating
wrong.
facts.
Dude, he
Our
was facts. Like, now you
we
go
have
back
a
and look at
flawed
it.
roster. Our tallest guy is 6'7". Like, that's you're not going to be able to compete with the Virginia. And what really got me is we had the same when they said that we had the same NIL funding
It was pretty
as
close.
Virginia, and so I'm like, but the thing that just irritates me is the fact that it's not him leaving; it's the way he left.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
it feels
He slithered away.
it's like the disrespect level. Like, you were welcomed in by Wolfpack Nation like I've never seen it before.
When was the last
Like,
time you saw us print T-shirts for a freaking head coach?
When is the last time we started a freaking hashtag on Twitter to get a coach to come to us? Like, we welcomed this man like he was freaking, I don't even know, the last of a better term, Jesus, to our basketball program. And the fact that I feel like we all could tell right after the UNC game it went downhill, but like we didn't know why. And I want to apologize to every player that I've bashed or said anything negative about, because at this point, like, we were all wrong. Like you said, Greg, he fooled all of us. Like, it was never the players. It was always the head guy in the locker room. Like, you can't tell me that these guys had no idea that he put his house on the market.
They're not dumb.
Or that he was looking
probably
at
more.
LSU.
I mean, they're definitely more connected than we are, and that's what I always say when we see things from the surface as a fan. I always preface, we don't know what's going on in that locker room, and that is the classic example of we don't know what's going on in that locker room. And give the players credit. Like, I still think they fought. I mean, like yes, we got blown out in a couple of games, but I don't like. But now it's like, it's crazy the things that you see, like the Miami game, the collapse. Like, he wasn't even coaching. Like, there's a reason he didn't call timeouts, because he's disconnected.
He didn't care.
Like, he didn't care. Yeah. And there's rumors that he talked to a referee in the middle of a game against Duke, and he said, "I don't care. I'm out of here soon." Like, just, and then telling people that, there's text messages out there that he said he'll see guys in the spring. Like the signs were there, and we just, for whatever reason, I don't know. Like, and I love Boo, and Boo's been so good to me. I don't know how. I mean, he's a very trusting man, and like, he's old school in that regard, and I respect him, where he believes a handshake and your word is everything. But I mean, the guy has a history. Like, how can you take that? Like, I put it in Twitter, and and I use the analogy for those that didn't see it. It's like a hot girl sees a hot guy in the bar, knows he's a cheater. She goes, "Hey, that dude's hot. I can change him." And then a year later, she's like, "He's cheating on me? How was that possible?" And then you're like, "What?" And like, you're just shocked by it. And then the last line I used was, "Well, duh, Stevie Wonder could see that coming from a mile away, because a cheater's always going to be a cheater." Like, a leopard never changes its spots.
Yeah. And I mean, but the thing that really bugs me is like one of his first lines in his conference against us, which was the same exact speech as he gave today. Let's just add that.
Well, at least it wasn't AI generated.
Yeah, if you want to hear what he said about to State a year ago, just go listen to the one against LSU. It's the same thing. But when he said that we're getting the better and more mature version of him, if this is the best version of you, I would like to have a talk with your wife because that's actually insane. Because
I need Carson. Come on, Carson, give it to us, buddy.
Yeah, Carson,
like you're a
lay it in
student
there.
steer. Like, what's the vibe? What's been the? I know we're on spring break right now, but what's the
No,
vibe?
spring break was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Oh,
now.
okay. Well, every school's
Campus
different,
has
so
been crazy from what I've seen.
Yeah, it's been interesting to say the least. Everyone has been talking about it, in class, on campus. I mean, it's just been absolutely crazy what's transpired. I mean, it was really Wednesday afternoon was really when the chaos started. I mean, people were just freaking out. Everyone's calling him a traitor, rightfully so, in my opinion. And yeah, it was an interesting 2 days, to say the least.
I mean, hell, Carson, they even drug your poor dad into the conversation, said that he was meeting with Will Wade with Boo, and and I think I saw the article or the reporter that reported it, and he goes, "News to me." Like just so many rumors and references going around. Like, it was just funny. Like what was the true story of everything?
I just loved how it literally brought all of Raleigh together. Like, you had the Carolina Hurricanes saying something about it. You had
that was good.
You had our football team posting a picture with the song "Loyalty" on the top, and Dave
With
Doran is
Doran.
the first picture you see, and then the
Mhm.
next slide is CJ Bailey. CJ Bailey says something to the media. Amedios is
About
ripping his
loyalty.
sign off the wall and covering his face. Like, it's just, this fan base is so passionate, and I don't think Will thought that it was going to be this bad. Like, I hope he knows for the rest of his life, in his comment section, there's going to be something about him in NC State. And it's just, and then Duke fans, if you have Duke fans and Carolina fans siding with us, you know what you did was shitty. Like, that's all I have to say, because we hate each other. You're not going to see that happen.
Yeah, I take a little respect for them, though.
I do. Yeah.
That's true.
Go ahead, Carson. Sorry.
Another conversation we were talking about with students was, if, I'm a senior, so I'm graduating this year, but I've talked to some of the younger people. If we host LSU in the ACC SEC Challenge next year,
Will Wade,
I would
guaranteed. No
He'll
shot.
send an email.
They'll block it. The SEC will block it.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying hypothetically, if that game were to take place, we would see Malice at the Palace 2.0. I would think.
Oh,
100%.
it would make our game against UNC look like a freaking rated G episode. 1000%.
I will tell you this: it would probably be the most expensive ticket ever in the history of Lenovo. It would probably outrank any Duke or Carolina game that we've seen in the history of Lenovo.
And part of that
would be. Go ahead.
And part of that would go toward funding Will Wade security.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I mean, my thing is I think that they should let that happen, because Reed and Will both waited till they got to Louisiana to start opening their mouth about State fans. Like, you called the cops at the airport.
Yes.
Because you were afraid of reporters and fans. Like, if you're gonna do a big ball
Soft.
move, have
Charmin.
big balls. Like, don't
Charmin.
like, own up to it. Be a man of your word. Like, and then
That's what I'm
Reed
saying.
waiting 2 days later to post that LSU fans are better than State fans. Like, my guy, you're irrelevant in every source. Like, please sit down.
Look, I say we let this. We keep talking this for another 4 minutes. At the stroke of 9 o'clock, it's over. It's done. We move on. Like, we don't talk about it anymore, because it's really not worth our breath. Like, it really isn't. Like, he is who he is. He's never going to change. I'm like, it was fun. There was moments that were fun. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it was good seeing Lenovo rocking at times. Like, when was the last time we didn't even sell out Lenovo for the first game after we hung 2 banners, right? Like, that's how much hype that was on this train with him coming to town. And Leighton, I know we're just talking, and I'm sure you want to get this brought back in, but look. There was a lot of people that put a lot of money into this program for him. You saw record numbers being raised. From what I understand, he got everything he wanted and then some. But I'm genuinely curious. I know we had Slater as a GM, and now that you see him going to LSU saying there will be no GM, that he will make the calls. I'm genuinely curious as to how much he had. Like, yes, he had a hand in this, but like, how much did Slater get overruled? Like, how much of this roster was Slater versus Will? And you saw it in Boo's press conference, and he called out Lubin, not to disrespect him, like to say that this kid gave everything he had at 6'7", was just outmatched, but played his ass off night in and night out. Had no support after him. Like, you had a project in Musa Sana or Musa, yeah, you know Musa Sanye. Like, he had no help at that position, and to go against the guys like you said, Ken's and UVA, he didn't really have to face them in Carolina because Vassar was out, but Duke with Boozer, like there was nights he had his hands full and had no help, and he still put up double doubles. You know, and there was times where he looked outplayed and outmatched because he couldn't get in foul trouble. There was no one behind him. And that was one of the things that Boo was like, look, this will not happen to us again.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean, just wanted to first shout out Patty pointing out once again that hoping that ESPN could find a way to get LSU versus NC State in the ACSC challenge next year. Again, won't happen, but it's a hope and a dream for sure.
Views ever if they made that.
It would
yeah,
be
I mean, that's elite. That's elite
watched.
Monday. What did they call it? What's that Monday night matchup? They always call it Big Night Monday. What is it called?
Yeah,
yeah. Come on, Carson. You know these things. What is it called? The Big Monday matchup. Like, it's like the best prime slot for college basketball. Big Monday, right? It's Big Monday. Isn't it?
I think it's Big Monday.
Yeah, I think it's Big
Monday. That sounds perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
MB24 pointing out Debbie wouldn't have been as nice as Boo has been with the situation.
She wasn't.
Well, that's the thing. First of all, Boo actually was pretty cut and dry and harsh.
Debbie wasn't. Yeah. Debbie posted a YouTube music video called "The Snake" on her Twitter.
Yeah, that was so good.
What a queen! Yeah. I love that woman.
Yeah.
We love Debbie.
Look, honestly, the only criticism that you could have, and a lot of people have had this criticism, is the buyout number was too low after year one, where Odom has $15 million. They were the same candidate for lack of a better, hired around the same time, kind of coming from mid-major programs. Like you already mentioned, the same NIL salaries were very comparable, and somehow he had a $15 million buyout, and Wade only had 5, but only got 4 at the end of the day. Yeah. That's really his biggest criticism that you could really have of Boo.
Yeah.
But look, he came out and he was pretty strong worded for what a Boo Corrigan normally says.
Yeah.
You could definitely tell the disappointment and the frustration, and I mean, anger is probably not the right word, but he was definitely like, yeah, you got me.
Yeah.
But I hope that motivates him. I think I think you'll see, however this contract looks for Gainey when it comes out, I think it's going to look vastly different. Whether fair or unfair to Gainey, I just don't see Boo wanting to get burned again. But again, to compare these two coaches and candidates.
Yeah, definitely the complete polar opposite.
Yeah, apples and oranges.
Well, first of all, too, got Noah in the chat as well. Giving a shout out to you, Greg, for your Top Gun reference. It was all theatrics and no substances past year. Hype will never go as far as honesty and hard work. 2 things Gainey will absolutely bring.
Well, and here's the other part of that. Like, was he really sticking up for guys when that whole rant against Giglio, or was that all theatrics? Like, again, at this point, I don't know.
It was all theatrics. Yeah. No, again,
I don't believe a single word that came out of that man's mouth. To be honest.
At this point, I agree with you.
And it breaks my heart for these guys that this was their last year and they can't get another season like this back. Like, this is how they're going to have to spend their last year in basketball. Is it ending because, and all they're going to be remembered for is, oh, you were on the team that Will Wade just abandoned and like screwed over this, that, and the third. Like, that sucks for these guys.
Can I give a shout out though real quick to Patrick Stacey? Like, he was offered to go to LSU with Will Wade, and he said he wanted to stay here in Raleigh because he wanted to raise a family and he loves Raleigh and everything about NC State. Like, if there's not a job on the staff, like on the actual basketball staff, Boo Corrigan, find that man a job in the athletics department. Like, that dude is loyal to a T. Like, he could have gone and made money, but he didn't want to uproot his family, and it's not about that. He wants to do the right thing by the athletes, and I think, man, that's so admirable in today's environment.
Yeah. Well, so I do want to get to one more point here about Wade here, and that's a big question around this lawsuit thing. And so first comment I want to bring up from Wee Jones 426 says, I don't hold Boo completely responsible for the buyout. He was getting the guy the money told him to get, and that was probably part of the negotiations. Well, and also too as well, and again, I can't find the comment, but somebody brought up asking about, is there any Chilton, is there any truth in us suing him? And I do got to give a shout out here is this tweet that was put together here. I'll scroll to the top to get the name. David McKenzie here really goes deep dive here.
He's a big time lawyer.
And the one particular, again, there's a lot here, which we could definitely dig into, but the one in particular is the notice and disclosure obligations, where it specifically promises not to seek or apply for other men's basketball related employment prior to the natural expiration of the term of this agreement under any circumstances without first providing written notice to the director of athletics. So that brings me to my next thing, which is quite funny because man, I need to find, here we go, from Joe Giglio pointing this out here. But funny enough, interesting enough, back in February on what day was it? February 23rd. Will Wade's old Louisiana home went under contract on February 23rd, 2026. So it's just interesting,
well,
and
there's
also
deeper, there's deeper to that too. Like from what I was told,
his house in Raleigh was put on the market.
Oh, I don't know that part.
Yeah, the 22nd.
Oh, that's even interesting. I would love to be able to confirm that part. From what I understood about this house, and again, I haven't seen anything factual, so this is all rumor mill. He sold his house for a very, 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 very low number, like extremely low. Like I'm talking under $1,000. This is what I was told, and so it sounded like it was being kind of like held. I thought that too, Chris, that he didn't actually buy here. He was renting, which is again another interesting thing that I was told too, that he was renting and not buying. But that I had heard that the house was sold for a very low number, like in 22. But again, someone that could look up records could probably pull that number. But and again, we go on a 6-game losing streak essentially, or 1-6 record over 7 games. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was just odd because it was right after the Carolina game, and then we just tanked. Is that 100? Like I had heard 300, so maybe that is true.
Yeah, I heard it like from $100 to $300.
Yeah.
So
all these. One second. I'm sorry, Leighton.
Yeah,
just
good. Go for it.
All of the. Okay, we're after 9 o'clock. All this shit. Right, because someone joked earlier that last week that we were going to have to be like FCC'd. I know we're not on FCC because we're a podcast, but like it's just, come on, man. Like I'm going to use the Stevie Wonder reference. Like he saw this coming, man. Like how did we miss these signs? Like not everybody. There was definitely some people out there that follows this stuff a lot more, that has a lot more time than I do, but it just seems like, come on. And it's weird because a lot of this seems to go back to when Brian Kelly was fired. Like that was the domino. That was the first domino to kind of go in and start this process, because the AD that hired him, he was on, like that was really the last piece of this, was him getting out of the clear. And by the way, I did some math, and it's between $65 and $70 million that LSU has spent in order to just sign Lane Kiffin and Wade. Like almost $70 million just to sign them, with all the buyouts that they had to do and then actually put them on contract.
Yeah,
that's an insane number. Like I made the tweet earlier. Sports is a hell of a drug, or college sports is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, no, 100%. And so at the end of the day, it's annoying, and I think we can really wrap it up in one tweet more specifically, and it really goes back to the very first line that athletic director Boo Corrigan said in his press conference, and that is that I think Philip Rivers said it best: the Wolfpack ain't for soft people. We're going to find a coach that understands who we are. Because one other thing too that we didn't even mention as well is that, again, it's a huge slap. Honestly, the biggest slap in the face of all is the one that Joe Giglio ended on, where he gave the thumbs up, whether it was his original idea or not. At the end of the day, he had to give the thumbs up to do it, of comparing himself to Jimmy V, but also to even making comments saying, I want to be up there with the Norm Salone, with the Everett Case. I want to be up there. Like, listen,
you can't do that in 365 days, my guy.
Well, you can't do that in 365 days, no matter who you are, but also too as well. Like it just goes to show what the intent that he obviously had, that he had no intent of showing any respect to NC State while here. Simple as that. He had no intent of showing any respect to us.
His character showed. And the thing that really makes me mad about his LSU speech today, and then I'll stop, was him mentioning he had a great relationship with Boo Corrigan. You couldn't even be man enough to walk into this man's office and quit in person. You had your agent email him saying you weren't coming back. Like, if that's, I don't understand most of the things that he has said. I don't think he understands most of the things that he said. He almost said Wolfpack today in his speech.
Well, he said Wolf.
Yeah. If that doesn't open eyes, that's the same exact speech. I don't know what does.
Yeah. Like Chilton said it best in here. For a 20-14 season, they can have them. Like again, I don't want anything that we're saying that sounds like sour grapes. I really honestly don't care at this point. Like, he's gone. I think we're going to be better for it, especially when we start breaking down here in a minute the whole unless something wild just happens, which I don't foresee it happening. But our next coach is going to be Justin Gainey, and I think you could kind of tell that this was where it was going to head based off of some of the answers that Boo gave in his press conference, that he was going to be right up there, and he was like interviewed during the last cycle of this. And so I'm super glad that it's going to be Justin Gainey for a number of reasons, and I'm sure we'll get into those here in just a minute when you make that headline there, Layden.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. 100%. Just to get to a last couple comments here around Wade, and then we'll move on here to Gainey. So, what are the odds we actually sue? I mean, probably not.
I don't think it's going to happen. I know a lot of people are talking and referencing that emergency meeting. I don't think it's in regards to that. I think it's just hey, we got to go vote formally on Justin Gainey to be our next head coach. Definitely could be wrong, but I know that that's a thing that has to happen in order for him to be quote unquote confirmed. I would be shocked if we actually sue. It's just not in our DNA. It's not what we do typically. Like, I know we didn't quite sue over the whole Adidas thing, but we did challenge it, and that definitely went in our favor. That might be the closest precedent we have in doing something like this that I know of. Maybe someone in the chat knows something more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it really just comes down to, listen, like, you don't want to set a bad precedent of suing former coaches necessarily, unless, I mean, like, but again, just like we said, Greg, I guarantee you if it does happen, it's going to come out of nowhere. There's not going to be like rumblings of it. Like this is going to be absolutely hid behind closed doors until, it decides to show its face. But right now,
I think you have a lot of like innuendos and like quote unquote coincidences. I don't think we have that smoking gun that's kind of just popped to be like, because you're going to spend some money. You're going to spend a lot of money to try to do this. And so how much are you going to get? How much is it going to cost you to go after this? Is the juice worth the squeeze? I don't know. And then, if you lose, then you come off as sour grapes. I don't know if there's enough there to be like, okay, like we need to go and just hammer this guy because of what he did to us. Is Boo fired up enough, right? Like, I think that's the other part. Like, and it's not necessarily all Boo's call. There's going to be multiple layers to this at NC State. I just don't know if they just want to just kind of cut their losses and move on and get going with the Gainey era.
Yeah. Well, especially too, I think that just like you said, it's like, listen, he's already unanimously, nationwide being looked down
Everybody
upon.
hates him.
Like, everybody hates him. Like, it's just, it's like, okay, you're trying to get some more money out of him, but then like, it's going to take a while. It's going to cost you a lot of money in order to even get to a settlement, if there is even a settlement at all. How much facts actually is there other than just assumptions, which at the end of the day, this is all assumptions.
I mean, karma's going to speak for itself. Like, I just hope that he hopes that LSU keeps him, because I don't see another school picking him up for coaching after this. To be
I love
honest.
Preacher Man's comment. What goes around comes around, and I'll always told, be careful who you step on the way up, as you will meet them on the way down. Amen,
Yep.
Preacher Man. Couldn't
I
have said
think
that better myself.
the one thing you could get from this, even if you're not trying to quote unquote win money in a settlement, is if you get to discovery, if it's not dismissed before that and you get to discovery, you can get documents come out, and sometimes you don't have to win money to kind of ruin someone's reputation.
It's already done. His
No,
reputation's cooked.
well, and again, but it's okay. He has a pure conscience that he did everything.
Yeah,
He's good.
he
He's
lets the
good. So
peace.
if he's
He's at
good, I'm
peace.
good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get outta
Well,
here.
Screw you,
and
dude.
hey, David Johnson,
Yeah,
good riddance. He's a scumbag and state needs to put this behind him. Guess what? Hey,
absolutely.
this is our first live show since the news. We got our 38 minutes of ranting here.
Yeah.
Now it's time to move on to the future. I'm here for it.
I told you 9 o'clock. We're 13 minutes over that. Let's get going with the Justin Gainey era.
Yeah, let's bring
Yes,
the
sir.
real coach in, can we, please?
Well, the funny thing is, again, NC State men's basketball technically still has not officially made the announcement yet. Technically, there's still a
He
board
has
of
been
directors
confirmed.
meeting.
Yeah.
Well, no, 100%. No, it's confirmed, but it's just funny
Yeah.
to me how it hasn't been officially announced by NC State men's basketball here. But yep, just like Greg said, the news came out confirmed by multiple sources that Justin Gainey will be our next men's basketball coach. And once again, Greg, I do want to go ahead. Actually, you know what, Carson, I'll ask you this question, Carson. The immediate thought, because obviously the first thing comes to mind, former player. There's a lot to talk about here, so I do want to go ahead and kind of nix the negative here, because there's a few negatives that are kind of being kind of on the backbone of a lot of these negative comments around the pick with Gainey. And one is, well, he's a former player. Sidney Lowe is a former player. Look how that worked out for us. I mean, Carson, what would you rebuke to that? To those people saying, well, Sidney Lowe's a former player. Look how it worked out for us. Gainey's going to be the exact same thing.
Well, let's look at some other teams in the triangle that have former players as their head coach. First off, you have Duke basketball with John Shire,
who has no head coaching experience. No head coaching experience.
No head coaching experience, and he's made the Elite Eight 3 years in a row. And then you have the Carolina Hurricanes with Brad Brindamore. No head coaching experience, former player. Hurricanes have made the playoffs 7 straight years now. 6 straight years, something like that.
Yeah, I think 7.
Yeah.
So for me, I think the big difference is Gainey's a career college assistant, 20 plus years with some of the most elite programs out there. Arizona, Tennessee. You see, and it's up in the comments here too about the ringing endorsement from Rick Barnes, which that's a world-class coach there.
Yeah, that in itself.
In fact, the coaches at State tried to go after years ago in Rick Barnes. But with regard to Sidney Lowe, he was a professional, right? And so for me, apples to oranges. The game is a lot different now than when Sidney Lowe was at State. Obviously, NIL is a thing, rev share is a thing, roster building is completely different. Yes, relationships still matter to this day, but like Gainey has those relationships. Like he's been doing these circuits recruiting for a lot of time, where that was not a thing Sidney Lowe had ever done. So I don't think that's, to me, it doesn't weigh the same. And I don't think that's yes, I can see where that's a concern for them. But for me, I don't think. I mean, he's been doing this for 20 plus years. He's from the area in Greensboro, so he knows the state of North Carolina. He recruited in state of Tennessee, so obviously he's had ties to North Carolina, like all this place. And I think that he's a guy that can recruit. He's got relationships out in California, Arizona from his time. He's a guy that can probably recruit nationally. And I don't think that he's going to be intimidated by anything. And he was the guy who, when Tennessee got some dudes that are now in the NBA, he was the lead recruiter, had a great relationship in getting them to campus, coaching them up. When was the last time State had a true player drafted by the NBA? Like it's been a minute, like a
Mhm.
minute. And so I think that this is something that Gainey can do. And then, we talked about it last week on the show with regards to wrestling and how Coach Pop is bringing in all these former alumni to, with the program being the next wave of guys that he's developed. Again, what a better person to bring in as your head coach, that someone's been there, knows the culture, knows like how to talk to a student, if academics still matter to folks, but he can talk about that, his time in there. Um, I'm really curious to see what his, and we'll get into it, but what his coaching staff could potentially look like.
I think
Yeah.
that he the fact that Rick Barnes himself came up and said that this guy loves state more than anyone like that he knows, and
I mean,
that
he could
NC State,
selfishly said, I don't want the guy to leave. Like he's
yeah,
not
Mhm.
like trying to hold him back.
but he said, yeah, and he was like, NC State would be begging if they knew him like I did. And I'm like, that right there, I think won a lot of people over because, like Boo said, we want to find a guy that knows our ethics, knows our morals. And obviously, we went the opposite way a year ago. And you see how it turned out. I don't see this person, Gainey, ever not having the best for our academic or athletic program or like doing anything selfishly. I think he's going to love NC State through and through. He's been here, he understands it. And I honestly think he's probably one of the best chances to keep the guys that we want to keep with Paul McNeil,
Yeah.
with the whole loyalty thing, with possibly Matt Abel. But I really think that it improved a lot for us to be able to keep Paul McNeil when we
Yes.
have a coach that's also from North Carolina, also shows loyalty. And I really like this move. I don't think it's going to be like the Sidney Lowe situation at all. I think they said that he was one of the head recruiting people at Tennessee, and you see how
Mhm.
that team is. So, I mean, I'm
They,
all
they've
for
made
it.
they've made 2 or 3 Elite Eights in a row.
Yeah. So,
Mhm. Yeah, and by the way, too, Preacher Man, 38 minutes of it grinds my gears. Haha, over the wall. Don't worry, we'll have a special it really grinds my gears section to wrap up this show here. So make sure to stay tuned for that here, because I don't want to get into that now because we're not grinding our gears right now. We're actually pretty happy right now, so we want to enjoy it here. But also too, MB24 saying Lowe was a last resort because nobody else wanted the job. It was definitely a very rough time for sure in NC State basketball. I think Lowe was just an option of, hey, let's just bring some excitement back to the program a little bit, but with other things too as well. But I think that was a big reason for it here.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure that Gainey wasn't maybe our first choice, right? Like I know we interviewed multiple people for this job, but obviously you have to do your due diligence and gauge interest
yeah.
in candidates. And it's okay that oh boy from LSU,
St. Louis
SLU, St. Louis University. I was going dyslexic there
shirts.
for a second, but it's okay that he decided, like, we don't know why he turned us down. We don't know if it was a number situation, and we don't know if he just wanted to stay at St. Louis. Does he have eyes on a bigger potential job? Because there's going to be a lot of more. There's still more dominoes to this whole thing.
Yeah.
Obviously with Carolina's job opening, and and one job opens, that could open 5 more, right? Because of that domino effect.
Yeah.
And that's okay that maybe he had bigger eyes. That's all right. Like, so even if Gainey was our number 2 guy, I don't think we were going to go wrong in either way, whether we had gotten either Gainey or was it, how do you say his name? Scherster? Is that how you say his name? I don't know.
Shirts.
Oh, shirts.
Shirts. Is it Shirts? Okay, yeah.
Shirts.
Sorry, I didn't quite follow the everything that I normally follow because I was at baseball all weekend, and I don't know if we're going to talk about that. But I know I have the same eye look, but yeah.
We talking?
Again,
We
at the end
talking
of the day,
about it?
I know we are. But I am happy with Gainey. I think this is going to be a really good hire for State, and we can start talking numbers here in a minute too, because I think that's a big thing that we didn't have to pay buyouts, and we can turn that $4 million buyout into whatever we want to do. I don't know how you can use it. I know I was listening to some of the IPS Zoom calls over the weekend, and I know that was one of the things that James Henderson was trying to figure out. But at $4 million, I'm sure you can move money
You just
around.
you
to
can't
make
use
it
it.
work.
You can't use it for NIL, but you can use it for rev sharing. So
Right, that's what I'm saying. You can move money around, I think. Like, I'm sure there's
Yeah.
loopholes into this whole damn thing because,
Yeah.
it's a talk for another day that, you can put it towards a lot of different things, and then you can make it work. So I think it's going to be a really good opportunity for us to make some money, literally.
Well, in St. Louis, hey, got to give props to them. I mean, they ponied up, offered Church 6 years, $22 million. It's a good paycheck with a good NIL budget behind it. So hey, no doubts, but also too as well. Like just like Lee Jones saying, he's waiting on the Arizona position. If UNC pulls Lloyd, away or Kansas or whatever. So, but here's my other thing too, which I love about Gainey, is the fact that there's a lot of examples of schools taking chances on guys with no head coaching experience that pay off extremely well and end up staying at that program. I mean, Clemson, for example, is one of the biggest examples that, in my opinion, you could think of. A former wide receiver coach, they promoted to head coach, and he becomes one of the elite college football coaches in the country. And he's been at Clemson now for 15 years now,
at least.
At least he's been there forever. And so here's my thing with Gainey is I think that he's a guy, like, let's say that he comes out and he just dominates from year one, and he's just popping off like, wow, like this dude was a home run hire. I think that, I mean, I don't really know if there's going to be, and again, we don't really know Gainey. We haven't really heard a lot from him directly about how devoted he is to NC State. Now, obviously, with his history,
I mean, he's going to agree to a contract. So,
well, no, but I'm talking about like, all right. So if Arizona came calling, if Kansas came calling, like, would he blink at that? Would he look at them now? Because my thing is, hey, like, if this is truly your dream job, which we haven't heard those words from him directly, but I would assume it could definitely be a situation where it is, being that he was a former player. Exactly. I mean, coming back home, like I think it definitely is, but just since the fact we haven't heard it, but assuming it is, then again, like you're kind of locking in your gains a little bit.
I don't even want to ask them that question, to be honest with you. I just like come back home. Let's see what happens. Let's make it work. Like, we're gonna make sure you have all the resources you need. You have the coaching staff. You have good management with the GM. You have resources, facilities. Like, we will worry about you going to, quote unquote, to another dream job if and when that time comes. Like, I just don't see it where he's going to be one of those guys that just jump ship just to jump ship. It just doesn't feel that way. Again, we've been played once, so who knows what could happen again. But I just, like, the man has been loyal, right? He's been an assistant coach for 20 years at some top programs. You can't tell me that he didn't have an opportunity to take a head coaching job somewhere else. Like, I think he was literally waiting for the perfect opportunity. And I think this is it. This is NC State. This is what he's probably been working 20 years as an assistant coach for.
But here's the thing, though, which I want to push back on, though, Greg, too, as well, is that I think NC State, the one thing that we've wanted extremely bad is, you look at Duke, you look at UNC. What is one thing that they have historically? That is
more national championships.
But they have elite coaches that have an extended tenure, that are there for 10, 15 years. But again, we haven't had that in a long time.
Well, let's break that down for a second, right? Like they've had the resources, right? They've had, when you win championships, programs self-recruit themselves. Like, you have the cream of the crop, the pick of the litter to go get who you want to keep that machine well oiled and keep it moving down the tracks. So again, we've kind of talked this about football. If you go win an ACC championship, now you can build momentum, right? You need something, and that's what we were talking about the year after the Final Four with Keats. Like, now you can get the momentum. It's up to you to do what you need to do to keep it going, and that's just something that State has failed to do on many occasions in many sports.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah. Now, Carson, kind of talking a little bit here, though, about Gainey. I mean, one thing is, I think that is a huge win is how it's been pretty much synonymous amongst all former NC State athletes. And when I say athletes, I'm talking even football as well, with Torrey Holt even coming out flat out saying, you should get Justin Gainey here. for me, that there's a lot of benefits to that. Not only just, because I think from a recruiting perspective, having guys that are going to be at, a lot of practices, like a Chris Corciani, like a David Thompson, like TJ Warren, that are probably going to be around the program even more now than they already have. So not only is it a recruiting thing, it's a locker room thing. It's a fan excitement thing. Like there's so many wins there, but kind of talk a little bit about that in terms of, how much do you think that former NC State player supports maybe went towards the decision to go to Gainey?
Yeah, no, I think it definitely played a little bit of a factor from a hiring standpoint, but not to the extent that all these other factors already played. But it's definitely still important. If you're any sports team, whether that's college or pro, you're going to want, your all-time players to be strong ambassadors to your program. And if they're on board with that, that just helps put you in a better position to do that.
Yeah. But, there's been a little bit of rumblings. Even Levi Watkins, former NC State assistant, former NC State basketball player, even tweeted out 2 wolf emojis. So I love that.
Come back.
I would love to see him come back too. And even JTS fans saying Bobby Lutz would be great.
Bobby Lutz. He's getting a little older, so I don't know how much he really wants to put into that. And I know he's got a family, and I saw him. Was it this year at baseball? Late last year baseball? I've seen him a couple times. He's just he's a great dude. He's a great coach. I wouldn't be mad at that, at least for the first year or so, just to kind of get him on the right track. With Gainey, I agree with that statement as well. Yeah, I would love like a Levi back, especially with his son being a really good ball player and kind of, I think he's like a 4-star recruit right now. I think he's like a freshman in high school.
No, that's true.
I wouldn't mind a guy or two that has NC State ties, again, just to kind of help with the recruiting. I know people talked about Julius Hodge and what's another name that I heard that I was like, can't remember. But
Julius Hodge was the biggest one.
Yeah, I think so. I don't want too many state guys, just for the fact is I don't want this to be like, quote unquote, a fraternity of dudes just hanging out and like playing fantasy basketball. Like, you know what I mean? Not to say that they wouldn't or that they would do that, excuse me. I just think that you need some you need guys around him that, and not to say that I don't think that Julius and Levi could do this, is you want guys that are going to challenge Justin and not just be yes men. And I feel like there was a lot of yes men on Will Wade's staff, right? And you want someone to kind of, not check them, but just say, hey, are we sure this is what we want to do, right? Because I give my boss feedback like that, again, at the end of the day, I'm going to do what my boss tells me. But I think that they would welcome that conversation, again, not challenging them, but just having a conversation to say, hey, should we do this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. But again, like A.S. Johnson says, love that more defensive mind and skill that he's going to bring, being that he was the focal point of that strong Tennessee defense you've seen over the last few years. That led to a top 20 defense in the country.
Top 15.
Top
this
15.
is their worst defense. This is their worst defense, and they're still top 15.
Yeah. So, now does that mean we're going to be UVA under Tony Bennett, with, in the 48-42 win? Probably not most of the games for sure, but it's just, it's definitely going to be different, especially compared to what we saw this past season here.
Yeah, as long as we're not switching up every damn play, I'm good with whatever defense we run, because that was a fucking disaster. I bleep my own self.
Yeah, we'll get back to that too, because I have a really grind.
I thought we were done with that,
but yes,
I thought we were done.
No, we'll come back around. We're like a lazy Caesar. We're gonna come back around. And we're gonna hit it hard right at the very end there. But yeah, again, it's just there's a lot of exciting options. But also too, I love the fact that Boo moved swiftly on this hire. Listen, Boo because he even said, like, listen, like, I already know the market. We don't need a search party here. I already know who I want to go after. I'm going to go talk to them literally one day, and we're going to hire somebody, but like, and get this thing done. And because a lot of that is really just, getting Gainey here, getting him established, let him go ahead and start talk about some staff, and then let him get ready from a strategy perspective. So that way, when the portal opens next week, he's ready to rock and roll just like everybody else. He's not a step behind anybody. While UNC is still looking for a head coach here, so what's that going to do with them? Haven't really heard much for them recently. So again, I love it.
The portal opens up a week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So again, I love the timing of it. So that way we don't, lose a step. But also I love the timing and the fact that Paul McNeil still hasn't made a decision yet, or hasn't publicly said anything yet. Only has posted.
And
None of our guys have.
Yeah,
Really.
some of their Instagram stories can kind of make you think
They're
that
cryptic.
they are going to come back with like the lyrics of songs they put, or like Paul McNeil posting a picture of like all the players from NC State in the NBA. So it's like you kind of go round and round. So I think having Gainey here on Wednesday will I think he'll definitely get into Paul's ear and be like, look, like
and
let's stay.
There's no doubt that like Justin Gainey probably has, like any other assistant coach, has a dream sheet of who he would love to work with. He's got relationships. Like, I don't expect the staff to take more than a couple of days just to kind of get through once he knows what his budget looks like, which I'm sure is, again, already being talked about. He'll be able to come in and go, all right, I've got a list of 7 guys. I'm going to go through my list, see what I need. Like, he knows that he's a good defensive coach, right? He knows he's a good recruiter. Now go find the things that you're not strong at and build your team around you, and make it truly a team effort when you're out there doing whatever it is that you're doing. And I think, if you put successful people behind you and not just yes men, I think you're going to be in a really good shape to go out and make some noise. And so I also think too, from what I hear, and it was in the chat as well, like there's some cryptic things about, like, we may have more NIL money than we think we have, as far as from a fan standpoint, because you heard kind of the numbers, the rumblings of like the NIL was this last year, and then that was one of the things that quote unquote, there you go, there was quote unquote, like, that was one of the things that Will left for. Again, I think that's horseshit. Like, I just think he wanted to leave regardless. So again, I won't believe anything. That man could tell me he's on fire, and I'm looking at him literally in flames, and I'd be like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I really think that they're going to set up Justin Gainey to be successful. And if he didn't feel that way, he wouldn't take the job, because again, he's been selective up to this point.
I think Will did us a favor with NIL in that sense, because I feel like there were a lot more pissed off fans that want our next coach to succeed even more now, and I feel like there's a lot more donations than expected, or there would have been with a pissed off fan base. And
well, again, he did build a good foundation. Like, I mean, like, we had 2,000 plus new season ticket holders. Like, I'm hoping they hold on and give Gainey. I was trying to say Justin Gainey at the same time and said Janey. I'm hoping that they give Gainey the same respect and the same level of support that they did for Will Wade. Like, if anything else, you give him more, because he's one of us. We're like, everyone likes to say we're bringing him home. So like, let's give him everything he needs to be successful. And I do have something I want to talk about NIL at some point, so we can let me know when you want me to bring that up. But like, NIL's cooking right now. Like, they're raising some money, and I'm hoping that we can get to the same levels that we did when we brought Wade on board.
Yeah. Well, because too, as well, I think that, listen, man, like, it's kind of funny, but like, just like you were saying, Greg, nobody's really talking about it really, but there's so many things that are playing in our favor right now, in the fact, like you point out earlier, Greg, that we don't have to pay any kind of buyout for a Gainey whatsoever. In the fact that Boo, smart enough, negotiate an extra $1 million just so LSU can take Wade a week earlier. Like, that's a good win for us. We'll take that. But also too, as well, like, I think Steve Williams, got to give a huge shout out to Steve Williams, Reed, the entire Wolfpack and Savage Wolves even too crew, for how they, immediately the day that Wade announced he was leaving, came out with a statement, saying that we we are in this together. We are trying to double down here on our efforts to move forward and make this an even stronger move for us. And because yes, and Carson, I'm sure you could talk about this too, but last year, like Greg said, we built that foundation of bringing excitement back to the program, which it definitely did. Now there's excitement added to revenge of like
it should be Red Reckoning. It should be Red Revenge. Like if Gainey wants a slogan, like not that I really want a slogan because I think they're
we're good on slogans,
but Red Revenge. Red Revenge.
Yeah.
Someone said Lloyd's gonna have the purple purge down there, and that really was funny.
Dude, I saw the best one where they had him looking like Grimace. I lost like that shit was so funny. Like they had him looking like damn Grimace. Hey, by the way, real quick, I want to shout out. I think Will Pritt was in the chat earlier. He just signed up to be a Wolfpack premier guy. So glad to have him on board. But yeah, let's go out and raise a lot of money.
But yeah, Carson, speak a little bit more to just again, man, like it's setting up very, very low key here. It's just like, hey, Will Wade said it best. It's just up to Gainey just to go execute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I don't necessarily think Will Wade woke the fan base up. The Final Four run did. Will Wade just brought the excitement back, and now Gainey is sort of uniting the fan base, I guess.
Yeah, no, because I think that Gainey is, again, besides the no head coaching experience, besides the Sidney Lowe thing, which is again a few far in between, pushback. Really, there's nothing really else to not like.
But you can't let one of those. I'm sorry to cut you off, Link. You can't let one of those things happen and ruin that for you forever. Like, like you have to grow, and I think this is part of that maturation. That look, different ads. Gainey was not our 40th option like it felt like with Sidney Lowe. It didn't feel like another. We ended up with Mark Gottfried because. Old boy from Maryland, I forget his name at the moment, was cutting Debbie Yao at the knees. Williams, I can't think of his first name, but the old head coach of Maryland. And so, like, Godfrey was like our 4th or 5th option. Like our last 2 searches, we've gotten the guy we wanted, and Gary Williams, thank you. And so this just feels different, right? This is just another part of the evolution of NC State basketball. And again, as much as we want to hate Will Williams, yeah, that was a good one. Will Wade, excuse me. As much as we want to hate Wade, he did have some positives, right? And so we can't 100% crap on him, but we can crap on him 99% at this point.
Well, and one other positive, which I thought of too as well, is that I saw a picture where Gainey's salary last year was $600,000 for the season, and so Wade, you were probably going to have to offer him 3.5 something like that million,
between 3.5 to 4 million,
and so with Gainey, even if you give him 3 times what he was making, 1.5.
Well, so originally Will was at 2.5, from what I understand. So
right,
I don't think you have to get 2.5. No, I don't.
So even that
1.752 million. Like you don't have to. I don't think you had to throw a Brinks truck at him to bring him home. Like I think
he wants to be. Yeah, I think he wants to be at NC State. I think that. Yeah. I don't think there was much. I think there was more negotiation on Boo's side for shirts, but I think Gainey was in from the start. Like from how Rick Barnes made it seem like Gainey was like, "You call me, I'm there, I'm all in." Yeah. Like go.
Rick was like, "Why haven't you called him?"
Rick was like, "Y'all would be begging me for him if y'all knew who he was."
Like if you turn him down a second time, you're not going to get him a third time. Yeah. He's got to go somewhere. He's going to be successful, whether that's at Tennessee or somewhere else. And then he would have been out of our market probably at that point because then you're getting SEC money.
Well, and we Jones saying, I think Gainey deserves at least $2 million. You got to pay the guy like he's the guy to inspire confidence to everyone else as well. Well, here's my thing: is like I think you go be a little bit more creative, and you say, listen, like instead of
base
like I'm giving you 3 times what you did make, 1.8. But I'm also adding a lot of incentive bonuses to your contract. If you make it to ACC championship game, if you win the ACC, if you make it to the Sweet 16, make the NCAA tournament, like you add in as many incentive options to it as well. So that way, he can easily make more to where he can get $3 million if he wants to. If he does well enough, like sure. But listen, I think
just don't give him the money just to give it to him. Like I'm okay with
put it towards NIL
contracts. Well, keep me hungry. Yeah. You're right. If you go win this, I'm going to guarantee an extra $2 million in NIL. You can there's an extra $75,000 for you. If your staff will give them an extra 15,000. Just there's ways to be creative on this stuff. Just make it happen.
Yeah. No, absolutely. MB24 saying, I'm 52 years old, lived through the Vavano era. The Final Four run brought that excitement back for those of us old enough to remember how much fun it was to be a State fan during the 80s.
I'll be 49 next month, and I'm right with you. I hadn't felt that good. Again, 2024 was a magical year. I know we didn't win a championship on the national level, but, you had the women's Final Four. You had the men's Final Four. You had NC State baseball make it to Omaha. That was a dream banner year that's only happened 3 or 4 times in the history of the NCAA. It's a rare feat. And so it can be done. It can be done. You just got to make sure you have the right people in place to pull those strings.
So, Carson, I think back about, the famous Doran clip with Steve Smith, saying at basketball school, you can kiss my ass. And I'm still sitting here, Carson, going, I love you, Doran. Love your loyalty. Love, the consistency.
Dude,
but man.
Great point. How much has Dave Doran come out smelling like roses through this whole thing with his loyalty, right? Because there were times that he could have bolted. There was definitely
Tennessee, Michigan State.
Absolutely.
But I think that we have definitely taken loyalty for granted from our coaches. I feel Wes Moore definitely could have left. Dave Doran definitely could have left. Elliot Avon's been here for 30 years. I feel like all of these coaches could have definitely had talk in their ears about going to a bigger program, and every one of them has turned it down. And I think that speaks to a lot of those are the kind of coaches you want on your team. Hurricanes head coach, he was saying that we need more Elliot Avons in coaching. So it's those are the kind of coaches we want. Will Wade was just a sore thumb in that aspect, and I feel like with Gainey, it's going to be an all-around loyal coaching staff, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, and so let's just bookmark this, 8 months from now when, State men's basketball loses 2 or 3 games and, and then the tide shifts, which again, I always have to remind fans once again, and I heard it today where it's listen, sports is it's all about streaks, you go through a hot streak and then you go through a little bit of a slump. We all can't be Alabama dynasties, or South Carolina women's basketball dynasties that just never lose games. It's just men's basketball is just not one of those sports, where you can just be that dominant over everybody else. It's just, especially now with the sport, the game of NIL, it's a resources game now. And there's a lot of movement, a lot of change. And, hey, listen, just be happy right now that you're not a Duke men's basketball fan, because man,
the Triangle's been through it.
I know the Triangle's had a rough year for sure. The
Triangle's been through
it. The funny part was Duke fans were like, Carolina blew a 19-point lead, and then Duke went and blew a 19-point lead.
19-point lead. Oh, this is awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Preacher Man even give a shout out here to Papolitio as well, talking about how he had the opportunity to go back to Oklahoma State and turned it down. So love that. And
hey, I get it though. At the end of the day, it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody. Yep. Well, and also, MB24 is saying he, Doran hates UNC just as much as any other State fan, and
we love a petty coach.
Factual.
We love a petty
factual
coach.
He hates Carolina. But Joko Jonathan saying, when will the contract be signed? When will the details about the contract come out? I'm sure probably tomorrow during the press conference.
Well, the press conference right now, from what I'm hearing, is scheduled for Wednesday at 2 p.m.
Wednesday.
Yeah. I didn't know how much of that was had gotten out. I just heard it from one of my inside guys. Hadn't really been on social media a whole lot today, but yeah, I think you'll probably hear the actual contract details probably Wednesday or Thursday, I would imagine. It will be interesting because I mean you just got to get a FOIA on that and get all that information. So I'm sure someone will do that if it's not just announced at a random meeting or something or press conference. I did find it interesting that that's going to be at Lenovo and not Reynolds, where they typically have those at Reynolds. So I don't know, just curious as to why that. Do you have something? Is something going on at Reynolds?
My guess, first of all, my first educated guess is you just did this a year ago. Let's not make it. Let's make it a complete. Let's make it a completely different thing. Like just like completely separate last year from this year. But I don't know, Carson. You've been around campus or anything going on at Reynolds this week that is preventing this?
There's stuff going on in Tally, but not Reynolds. I don't think.
I mean, didn't Gainey play in PNC/Lenovo?
Yes.
So
maybe I think in the later part.
Last part.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
so yeah, no, but I'm gonna go with I think my educated guess is pretty good. I mean, just like listen, just make it completely different. Like, yeah, we're in a new era, we're in a new space. Like, like
get some smoke machines with red that we saw today.
Yeah, let's get the boots.
What was that? Oh God, I don't want to even mention. I don't even want to talk about it.
That's so bad. Him in the general outfit, like, what are we doing?
What was that? But that foam thing that said "win," like.
What was up with the 15 students in the student section?
All right, we'll get to the. You know, it really grinds my gears here
so
to
wrap
it up.
I know. We're.
But all right, so. Again, I'm excited about Gainey. It's going to be awesome. Looking forward to talking next week about his press conference and his comments. It's going to be awesome. But with that being said, Greg, hey, I just want to point out, though, that Greg is always the first one to say, Leighton, when are we talking baseball? When are we talking baseball, man? Oh, we got to talk baseball, right?
Tonight.
And now it's, do we have to talk baseball?
I'll still talk about it. I'll still talk about it. I ain't scared. I ain't Wait, Will.
We're talking about it.
I ain't Wait, Will.
Yeah.
I want to talk about it. It gets me fired up.
Yeah. So, Greg.
Hold on. Can I grind my gears real quick?
Already? But we were going to do a whole nother segment.
No. Just give me one.
All right. Here we go.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Leighton making me talk about Pac-9 baseball when he knew I was already going to talk about it. So let's talk about it.
Yes, let's talk about it. Listen, Greg, I don't even want to recap, man. It was just bad. So just start talking about baseball.
I drove 9.5 hours for it.
I know. Well, and so like I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to talk about the trip? Do you want to talk about like just how do I feel some kind of positivity around NC State baseball right now? Anything you got? The one positive which I will 100% say, man, that NC State the NC State pitching staff is literally going to the batters, be like, can y'all please just hit the daggum ball, please? Like, golly, Pete, man. Like, anyway, so yes, pitching.
Starting pitching was good. Starting pitching was really good.
Yes.
Gave ourselves a chance on Friday and Saturday. Marone gave up 3 runs to that offense. Some of the lowest numbers that they were held to. That's a really good lineup. Top 5 lineup in the country. Made a couple of mistakes, but your offense has got to score more than 1 run. That's a Cracker Jack stadium, and we hit 1 home run the whole weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That was frustrating. Again, Marone pitched really well. Duden pitched pretty good on Saturday as well. Like, not quite as good as Marone, but damn near it. Should have won the game. They had like 6 infield hits. Or at least they were scored infield hits. Defense and base running bit us in the ass on Saturday. We had opportunities. Ty Head with one of the best catches I've seen, which is saying something because Ty Head, that's just what he does. Sunday pitching was a little rough. But again, we didn't hit, so it didn't really matter. Like, if you're not even scoring a run, I can't even blame pitching because you didn't score anything. Just the stat is just again. I'm not out on this team by any stretch of the
No.
imagination. We do this every year, lose a couple of early ACC series, and then we find a way to. I'm trying to read this every year. We struggle early, but yeah, that's exactly the point I'm making right now. It is frustrating that you kind of run the same lineup out there, and again, you might move them around in the order. I just think you got to shock the system a little bit. I think you need a little bit stronger defense in some areas on the field. You've still got dudes that are just balling. Rhett Johnson, just another weekend where he goes out and does Rhett Johnson things, and it doesn't look sexy because he's not hitting bombs and doing all this other stuff. Dude on Saturday went 2 for 3 with 2 walks. 2 for 3. So in 5, what's my math there? 5 plate appearances, he gets on 4 times. Like, it's just what he does. Like, but again, some of the things we're not hitting. Like, and so if you're not hitting, you got to be creative. You got to find ways to manufacture runs, whether that's hitting runs, bunts, stealing. Like, we just didn't do any of that this weekend. Anything well. We just don't have the ability to string multiple hits back to back to back. Not getting a lot of walks. We're putting the ball in play, but just some bad ball luck where we're hitting it right at guys. Again, not out on this team at all. I just think that you just got to find a way. Got to find a way. We've lost 5 in a row. Got to get right. You got Notre Dame coming, which at the beginning of the season they were picked lower
6
10
in a row.
6 in a row.
2 to Florida State, Campbell, 3 Georgia
5.
Tech.
Yeah, that's right. My apologize. Yeah, again. And this is why I'm trying to put it out of my mind. And I thought, well, hell, if I only say 5, then people will believe me. Thank you for that. We always want to be correct here on Tuffy Talk, but everybody coming back in the comments, that jackass said we only lost 5. We've lost 6.
Lost 6, yeah.
So got to get a midweek this week. Got Notre Dame coming in, who we thought was going to be kind of a lower tier team in the ACC, and they've been good. Freaking Boston College has been above average, and that's the series of the 3 that we've won. They going into yesterday, they were 8-3 in the conference. So definitely not out of it. We've basically played a third of our ACC conference schedule. You play 10 series. We've played 3 so far, so just not quite a third. Good news is you did lose series to Florida State and Georgia Tech. They're 2 top 10 programs, though. Damn, Florida State's going to have a tough time replacing Bailey. That was just a gruesome injury.
You're not replacing Bailey. Yeah, I'll tell you right now, you're just not going to replace him.
No, he was going to be he was on track for ACC Player of the Year.
Easily,
it was him against the field at that point. But prayers up for him that he can get healthy and get back onto the field. You just hate to see that for a guy. So anyway, your 2 toughest series as of this weekend have already been played. Now, not to say other teams can't step up and be tougher series, but ACC's been weird. Teams beating teams that you didn't think they would beat, winning series that you didn't think they would win. So there's still hope. Don't cash out on this team. Like, hosting a regional, let's not talk about that right now. We're not even near that conversation.
No.
But again, it's not to say that you can't get there with putting together a 15-game winning streak. Like, you can. We've seen this team do that, where they'll go out and win every other series, win each series 2 to 3, maybe get a couple sweeps. It's still there. Just you got to find a way. You still got to find some pitching. I think in the bullpen. Again, your starters and Nance can only do so much for you on the weekends. You saw some things. You saw some good things on Saturday night with Heinz and who did we see? Potts. I think Potts pitched okay on Saturday.
Yeah.
And you got guys.
Yeah,
So
you got options.
I'm just rambling at this point because I'm frustrated for this team. There's a lot of talent. There's top MLB prospects on this team, and we're just not getting it done. Guys are pressing right now. You can tell. Seeing the guys' body language after Saturday and Sunday, they're not. Some of them aren't in a good spot mentally. Just got to get back on the horse and keep grinding. Let the water flow off you like you're a duck.
That's okay. I like it. That's Hey, that's one way to put it. So Carson, you want to recap? Had a good weekend as well for NC State's softball and tennis. Finally, some good news for softball.
Yeah, softball picked up. They had a 3-game series against Syracuse, but they only played 2 games, but won both of them. And
really, it showed 3 finals that they had won. That was not true.
I think they only played 2.
I'll double check that. But while you do that, please. Yeah, while you do that though, this is one I wanted to hold on to, and this was honestly probably one of my favorite things that happened over this last week, and that was Mr. Hayden Hidlay coming back to NC State wrestling, baby.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. But man, does it feel good for it to finally be a true thing? Just thinking about this coaching staff, with Pat Pop, you got Esposito, and now you got Hayden Hidlay, who's one of the greatest to ever wear NC State singlet.
Oh yeah.
And then you still have his brother, who's very, very, very much tied and involved in state wrestling program. You gotta be excited, about the future of NC State wrestling now. Not to say that you weren't excited already, but just, you lost Kevin Jack, who was a longtime assistant at NC State, to take a head coach at IMG Academy for wrestling there. And now you got Hayden, who's a guy that really was
brings the energy.
Brings the energy, exactly. But also too is man, he was impressive at what he did at Stanford. The stories that we've heard about his ability to recruit already is extremely impressive, say at least.
Had a national champion out there.
And also too, by the way, there's a 133-pounder that entered the transfer portal that finished 6th place and 8th place at the NCAA tournament the last 2 years. So
from Stanford,
from Stanford, just saying. So Hayden, pick up the phone. We appreciate that.
Where's he from? Where's he from? Just out of curiosity.
I haven't known much about. But just before I saw he went to portal, I was like, oh, perfect. We need a 133. Bring him on over. So
there you go.
But again, it's just it's good to have it once again. Because as much as Kevin Jack is a known name of the diehard NC State wrestling fans. Even the non-diehard NC State wrestling fans know the name Hayden Hidlay. I mean, again, like we've talked about before, of like the Holt brothers is probably the most famous, siblings. Or sorry, I know. Well, okay, most widely known for sure, most out there, whatever. Yes, I know. But I'm just saying the Hidlay brothers is
they
up
went on
there
the cover
in terms
of Sports
of conversation.
Illustrated.
What's that?
They went on the cover of Sports Illustrated. The Bucky brothers.
I know. Again, I'm not saying it is.
We're gonna talk afterwards. We'll take this offline.
Hey, listen.
Greg's trying to start with everybody.
Oh, come on.
Hey, he started
man.
with baseball.
That's true.
Either way, I'm just making a point. The Hidlay brothers is up there,
brother.
And now we got Hayden back in NC State red instead of the Stanford red and the Stanford block S once again.
The
love
red.
To see that. Yeah, the Cardinal red, exactly. Preacher Man, Groveland, Massachusetts. See, there we go.
There you go. Preacher Man with the wrestling news, shocker.
Yeah.
He's always on the wrestling one. We appreciate that. Yeah, that's an easy comeback down to North Carolina.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen. But also too as well, though, got to give a shout out to first of all, men's tennis beating Carolina. Always love that. Yeah, we'll take that. We'll gladly, celebrate that. No doubt about it. But also,
hey Carson, what did you find? Was that wrong?
Yeah, no, they only played 2 games.
Okay.
So
the website was wrong. It's all good.
Yeah,
but
GoPack said they played 2 games.
Gotcha. Yeah, I saw it on a different website. So,
but I just want to take this opportunity though to point out that there is a NC State athletic sport out there that is top 10 nationally in the country.
Pickleball.
And it's literally serving you free crumble cookies. And I'm telling you, I saw this tweet. I about fell out of my chair. I'm like, oh my God. They're literally getting you a free crumble cookie to come and watch a top 10 program in the country, like for absolutely free. Like the ticket is free, a free crumble cookie, and you get to watch a top 10, women's tennis program in the country. Like,
we need to give that give out at Pac 9.
And it's if you go, there's multiple games on, because for doubles it's 3 games at once, and for singles it's 6 games at once. You can literally just go back and forth on what you watch.
If you have ADHD, it's the perfect sport.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, but any other sports or any other big news out there we need to touch on before we start to wrap up this puppy? I think that's the biggest.
And
shout out to Kendall Simmers from the softball team, because she's killing it right now.
Yeah,
love it. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, women's basketball. You had Zam Jones enter the portal, which not really shocked about that.
But our girl Zoe's staying.
Zoe's staying. Yeah, so that's a big one.
Zoe.
And Lunan staying.
That's correct. So really, and then you lost Mallory Collier. She entered the portal as well, which again, not
I saw
reserve piece. Yeah, reserve piece. She wasn't playing. So for me, the biggest question at this point on this team is what does Tilda Trigger do?
Yeah.
That's
got to get
really
that girl more aggressive.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind Maddie Cox back as well. I think she's a good backup piece. She plays hard. Good teammate. I would assume that Adeline is probably coming back, but again, haven't heard or seen anything official on that. And then now you just got to go find you 6 or 7 girls that can make a difference. We got that one person from like Africa. Like she was. I don't know anything about her. Maybe Carson, you do. I don't know. Just kind of snuck in. Yeah, just kind of snuck in. I don't know what to expect from her.
Yeah. I think in any other week, the Zoe Brooks news in particular would have been much bigger news.
If we had some other thing happen.
Yeah,
that's the weird things, right? Like things like that get buried because like everyone's focus is on the other shenanigans that are happening.
Yep.
So, but
yeah,
man, we're I mean, sports are starting to wind down. We're almost to April, and we only have basically another month and a half.
Yep.
Oh, guess what? I got my tickets for Rio.
Oh boy!
Bought my tickets for Rio. Got my game tickets and bought the fancy tailgate and have a passport. Now all I need now is a plane ticket because I'm not driving there. And,
you ain't driving through the jungles of Panama.
You can't drive. It's not possible to drive to there.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, no. We don't need
Plus
a
my wife might be
geography
kind of
lesson
upset.
here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah,
so
they were coming to Tuffy Talk for Jaguar. Jeez, for the jungle, the geography of Latin South America. So, yeah.
All right, y'all. So hey, because
it's time.
Well, it is time, but guess what though? I have a couple I need to get to here of specifically.
You know what really grinds my gears?
So we are literally dedicating this next couple minutes here to literally just, it really grinds my gears because man, do we have a few of them for sure that we kind of threw out there. So I want to see it in the comments. What really grinds your gears of anything this week, whether it's Will Wade, you name it. One thing that really grinds my gears, which I'll get us started off here, in particular here again. There's a lot, but I mean, first of all, just with Will Wade's press conference, the fact that again, just like it just really grinded my gears how just the administration talking about it is as literally it's like this savior is coming home. I don't know.
You're talking about
LSU's administration, just like how they were talking about Wade. But also it also really grinds my gears now that we hired a coach a coach whose wife is a UNC fan or went to UNC.
That was in the chat. Yeah, that was in the
chat.
And the coach is a Clemson alum.
Yep, Clemson alum, and hey, you even got Clemson Twitter accounts out there even hating on Will Wade and calling this a scumbag move. So. Hey, that goes to show you Will Wade there, but
it was. It was really classless the way they acted on the Raleigh tarmac. Like it was just a show,
big makeout fest.
Yeah, Like, hey, get an
Yeah.
airplane. Oh wait, you already have one. Now get the hell out.
Yeah,
Like,
get the hell off. Go away. Yeah. Yeah.
everything about it just soft. I thought we
Yeah.
were done with this.
Well, Greg, I want you to give me what really grinds my gears for baseball, man. Hey, I'm sure you got one, man.
Gears.
Yeah, there's a lot that grinds your gears.
Look, this is no disrespect to anyone on the team. I think they all work their asses off. They do things that most of us can't do. This is more directed at the coaching staff, and again, no disrespect to them because they work their asses off too. And I know they're trying to put the best product out on the field, but it's just like we keep trotting the same things out. It's not working the way we were hoping to work. We're putting guys in positions that's not their natural positions. But again, you're trying to get the best. It feels like the best offensive lineup, and even that's like, okay, we got guys that are not hitting. I know you've moved them up and down lineups. Maybe just give them a day off. Maybe give them a mental break to where they can just reset,
Something.
get refocused,
Anything.
something. But I know it's tough because baseball is a 54, 55, 56 game sprint to the postseason, and there's only so many opportunities. And yes, that sounds like a lot, right? But it's just you got to get it figured out. And I know like this year was different with the weather, and I know you can't make excuses because like everyone up down the East Coast had similar conditions this winter. And I know you didn't get scrimmages and you didn't get looks that you wanted to look, but man, we just gotta figure something out. It's just there's too much talent on this squad to be at the position. And I know this is our annual trek. This is our annual rite of passage where we have to struggle in the first couple of weeks of ACC play. But excuse me, are we going to figure it out? Are we going to make that run? It has to start sometime, so let's get it going now. Like, let's not wait till the next weekend. Let's go win. I don't even know. Like this week's been. I have a lot of going on personally. I don't even know who do we have in the midweek this week. Oh wait, it's Liberty. I think it's Liberty now that I'm thinking about it. So you got Jackson Lucas coming back, hometown kid. He won't pitch. He's a weekend guy, but I mean maybe he can make an appearance out of the bullpen. But you got to go win Liberty. I mean, we lost to Liberty last year, so it's not going to be like a cookie cutter. We lost to Campbell last week, 7-2. Like we didn't even talk about that earlier when we were talking about baseball. So anyway, you said give you a grind my gears. I gave you a grind my rant. So anyway, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, it really grinds my gears, with Medios, first of all, everything going on with them, with their Twitter account getting hacked, with the whole, location thing and stuff going on with that. Like, I don't know, man. Like it's basically like it's a landmark. It really is. It's a North Carolina landmark, man. Like, just why does it even be touched? I don't get it. But also too, like, especially too, like if that happens, it really grinds my gears is Dave and the media's crew for having to take all that memorabilia off the wall and put it somewhere else. Like, all that stuff.
I volunteered my picture. I volunteered my broken leg picture and Carter Finley to go up on the wall if they really wanted something like people can rally behind. Like that's the anti-Will Wade.
Yeah. Well, and Children comes in here with a great, really grinds my gears that anyone would think the LSU men's basketball job is better than NC State men's basketball job. Yeah,
I'm gonna add on to that. All right, people, LSU fans on Twitter talking about how they have such a better historical basketball program than us. I'm like, we have been to the same amount of Final Fours. We have actually won national championships that y'all haven't. And literally the only thing that I think of when I think of LSU basketball is that Shaquille O'Neal played for them.
I mean, Pete Maravich played for them too. Yeah. But again, if it weren't for NC State, he wouldn't have made it to LSU because we didn't want to take a chance on him academically. It goes back to Macon's favorite coach, Press Maravich. Still the greatest podcast we ever had. The fantasy draft of coaches. Look, again, I think we talked about this before. Like they didn't yes, we didn't invent cutting down the nets, but we invented it for college. That's right, Cam Hayes, they go down there. Yeah, that's how successful he was. No one really remembers that. But look, I get it. They got money. Like, again, that's probably what grinds my gears is like the root of all evil. Money just drives college athletics. It's,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not going to bitch about it because it just comes off as sour grapes, but we just keep fighting. We're NC State. We just keep grinding.
I'll do one last, it really grinds my gears, and that's two things. First of all, it really grinds my gears. Wade saying, those who need to know do know. When talking about like the reasoning behind him making
the inner circle,
whatever. Like, it's not anybody from NC State. I can promise you that. Like,
right.
Who knows? Nobody from NC State knew, properly.
No, that's a mischaracterization, Leighton. That's a mischaracterization. Stop it.
Like,
stop
it.
That's a mischaracterization.
Like, what do you mean mischaracterization?
He's good. He's at peace, and that's all that matters. Namaste.
Namaste. But again, like Lily Buchor could have taken the high road, but he said nope. That MF or Lily didn't even send me an email. He didn't shake my hand. He didn't send me an email. His agent sent me an email. Putting in his resignation. So really grinds my gears is that, but also too as well like the whole what was I even? I lost my track of thought, but again, just Will Wade, just dude, screw that guy. All right, we're on to the next. He gone. On to the next. I feel better now. I'm at peace now, Will Wade. And
namaste.
And namaste. Oh, you know what? I thought of it. About how how he doesn't care about. He lost the ability to care about perception forever ago. I'm like, okay, well, there's a difference.
He never had that perception.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, well, guess what? Now you're just going to be forever known as an a-hole. You are who you are, and you're going to be known as an a-hole forever. Like, congratulations. Now
hey, put up the preacher man's grind. That's a good one.
Yeah, it grinds my gears when a grown man plays the victim, not take responsibility, and leaves like a coward. Boom.
This is where we need the Mike Gundy. I'm a man.
I'm 40.
Be a man. Take responsibility for your shit.
Yeah.
Grinds my gears having to cuss on this podcast because of idiots like him.
Well, and again, too, it's just listen, dude. Yes, it was a good season. The fact that yes, we made it to NCAA tournament, man. But dude,
that was the what ifs. What could have been?
What could have been? Dude, you lost by almost 50 to Louisville. You got blown out multiple times by Virginia. You got blown out by Duke. It's just, and again, also too, keep in mind, dude. We were actually one game away from the doomsday scenario. Come to find out, apparently that Pitt win in the ACC tournament, that might have not have locked us in. That might have actually just gotten us in. Come to find out. So anyway,
yeah.
All right, y'all. With that being said, it is the Gainey time, baby. We're going to celebrate it even more next week once we have the press conference here. It's going to be great. Hopefully even probably have some, can actually talk a little bit more about some women's basketball, maybe have a little bit more limelight there. But also to finally have the happy Greg baseball guy back once again next week as well to talk as well. That is my hope here too. So
what I want to say is we didn't lose Wade. We gained Justin. Wrap it.
Wait, hold on a second. Jokes. I think I actually have nope, I don't have it. Dang it. I thought I had a laugh in here, but I gotta do. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Fair.
Yeah.
I deserved it.
The Janey era. Ha ha ha. There we go.
Yeah, I did say Janey era. I did say Janey instead of Justin and Gainey. Yeah, that's
So punny, Greg. Yeah.
It's 10:15. I need a beer.
That's right. That's right. With that being said, Wolfpack Nation, we'll wrap it up there, man. But again, first of all, if you haven't already become a member of One Pack Collective, I will give a shout out.
Yeah. So speaking of that, I was reached out that said that I can't tell you what it is, but something's coming big this week with One Pack NIL. They got a campaign that they're going to kick off in honor of the Janey era kicking off.
I'm here for it.
So if you're not following them, follow them. They're always doing great things for us in the Wolfpack community and giving us access to things that we probably shouldn't have access to. So if you're not following them, go make a donation, go become a member. They're trying to grow this thing to 5,000. I think they said they reached over 2,200 tonight, so they're almost halfway to their goal of 5,000. So let's get them there this year.
I love it. I love it. And Carson, any final thoughts here, man, before we wrap it up?
Nope. Excited for the Gainey era to begin.
That's right. Yep. And Rob jumping right at the last minute, just in time. We gain Gainey. Let's do it. So with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, if you haven't already, do us a big favor. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If it lit up for you, that means that you need to hit it. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. If it lit up for you, make sure to hit that like button. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to us, do us a big favor. Leave us a 5-star review. Greatly appreciate that as well, as it really helps support us and really goes a long way towards supporting the channel. And lastly, make sure to give us a follow at Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter. And with that being said, y'all, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. And we'll see y'all soon. And go Pack, y'all. And
happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter, everybody.